Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to be joined by Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
So you met this morning with Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest leadership as well as local Bureau of Land Management. Are you any more confident that this fire season will be better than last?
I'm tremendously confident in the professionalism of those that I heard from today. I think we know that this is a multi-million-dollar problem, and you're not going to be able to deal with this and the human consequences with nickel and dime solutions. One of the things I was impressed by is one of the people in the natural resources agencies told me that it won't be too long before they will be doing more to fight fires with drones than with chainsaws.
The Forest Service released proposed regulatory changes last month that would exempt several new types of forest management projects from the typical review process under the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. Is this a step in the right direction for management?
I want to see the details, but I'm very concerned about what I've heard about this. First of all, I was the Democrat who worked with the Bush administration to streamline the National Environmental Policy Act without throwing the environmental laws in the trash can. And I want in particular to make sure that the 2 million acres that need to be treated now, that are shovel ready, that have gone through environmental review, that somehow we put them aside and go after something that I think is probably going to get tied up by lawyers in federal court. I do not want to see 2 million excuses for not going in there and dealing with those acres, and we can thin them, we can have prescribed burns, and we can have commercial activity that also involves thinning.
I'm sure you watched last week's Democratic debates. What stood out most to you?
Well, what stood out to me is what incredible diversity that was on the stage. A lot of people are complaining, well, there are too many people and the like. It's true that I may be the only member of the United States Senate not running for president. I guess I'm the designated driver to stick around and deal with taxes and health care and making sure we can get our export markets. But I thought it was a good thing. The more voices for democracy, the better.
There's been some concern, some criticism, if you will, that your party is moving too far left. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the question is about solving real problems. And I know, for example, you look at the tax code, I thought it was a huge mistake to borrow $1.5 trillion and put ourselves in a hole when we need to deal with roads and the like. And we borrowed all that money to pay for a flawed tax bill that went mostly to folks at the top.
We can take a quick commercial break. Much more with the Senator in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Senator Ron Wyden. Senator, a new government report calls the situation at the border a, quote, ticking time bomb. This is new images of overcrowded detention centers are fueling a wave of protests nationwide. You and Congressman DeFazio participated in one of those rallies in Eugene this week. How do we fix this problem?
Well, first of all, I think we need new leadership at the Customs and Border Protection Office. A number of my colleagues are making that point today. The bottom line for me is you can't have small people dealing with really big problems. And you look, for example, at the treatment of these kids, you look at what went on with these secret accounts with Facebook. There needs to be a shakeup and a replacement of the leadership at Customs and Border Protection.
Did you read the Mueller report?
Yes.
What were your conclusions?
Well, of course, I was particularly struck by the 10 instances where he feels that there's been obstruction of justice, but I'm also very concerned about a footnote in the report that involves election security. I'm on the Intelligence Committee. We've talked about that in the past. I can tell you that as of today, as of right now, my sense is we will see hostile foreign interference with our election in 2020 that will make 2016 look like small potatoes. Bob Mueller referenced in just a footnote, and I've spent a lot of time asking additional questions about it, a matter in Florida that essentially was connected to a hack of a voting system here in the United States. We don't have all the details about it, but it's pretty ominous if the government knew about a hack that was Russian related in the summer of 2016. We need to know what they did about it as it relates to Election Day.
Is the federal government doing enough right now to mitigate that risk for next year?
Not as of right now. What I can tell you, though, is the House of Representatives in something called the SAFE Act, which just passed a few days ago, accepted my core proposals, which is that everybody get a hand-marked paper ballot, that we have real audits after an election to look for threats. And also we make sure, for example, that one of these voting machine outfits can't have pre-installed software in their machine. Something like that would be like taking American ballot boxes and putting them on the streets of Moscow.
Senator, good to see you.
Let's
Thanks
do
for
it
the time.
again.
Appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.